All right, everybody, welcome to Tuesday's Tips. Today's topic is styling with those learning styles. My name's Michael. I'm a learning specialist, and Tuesday Tips are 15-minute or less mini workshops where you talk about essential skills, help students be successful here at LCCC. This is sponsored by Educational Support Services and a first-year experience. So let's get rolling. Okay, so I want you to reflect a little bit about this. First, these are your own internal thoughts. When it comes to understanding how you learn best, do you have a solid handle on that? Do you mostly know how you learn? You have some idea, or you have no idea? Or are you A, B, C, or D? Just kind of get that in your head, right? Because one of the things about this, when we're moving to this, we're going to talk on high school versus college a little bit, give you a quick quiz, a learning styles quiz. We're going to score it, and we'll talk about the results a little bit. Okay, so learning in high school and learning in college is the 80-20, 20-80 rule. Basically, when you're in high school, 80% of the learning is done in class, 20% of it's on your own. While you're in college, 20% of the learning is done in class, 80% is on your own. So it's a real different mindset, right? The other thing about that is teachers in high school have formal training to be educators. They're trained in pedagogy and they are trained to help students learn. College faculty are experts in their field. They know a lot about their subject matter. And a lot of college faculty are really good teachers, but they're not formally trained to be teachers. College faculty are subject experts, while high school teachers or subject generalists, but they're strong in the teaching aspect of it, the formal training for teaching. So that's a big difference, right? Now, one of the major purposes of a college education is help you become independent learners. That's why we have the college faculty being who they are and why we have you learning more on your own. So you can be the independent learner. So what this really means is that you need to take control and master your learning. No one else is going to do that for you. So one of the things in college you need advice is you need to figure out how you learn best. Ask yourself these big questions. Okay, so quiz time. Take out a sheet of paper, get ready to take a quiz here, right? There are 5 questions. I'm going to ask you, I'm going to read a question, give you 3 options, and at the end of each option, there is one letter. I want you to write down that one letter. Pick only one. Pick your first instinct. You can't be wrong, but it's timed. I don't want you to overthink this. So think about your first thing that you would do and write down that letter. Okay, ready? Here we go. Quiz time. All right. So when I learn something new, I would rather watch someone show me how, hear someone tell me how, or try to do it myself. So are you a V, an A, or a K? Write it down. Next question. When giving out directions, I would rather see the actual places in my mind as I say them, prefer to draw them, point or move or give my body as I give directions, or to tell the person directly, right? So you're V, K, or A, write down an answer. Okay, if you had to remember a list of items, you would rather write them down. Say them over and over again to yourself. Use your fingers. How would you do that? Write down V, A, or K. When solving a problem, I would rather talk myself through it. Use my body to move the objects or things to help me think. Write or draw diagrams to see it. A, K, or V. Last question. To keep occupied while waiting, I would rather look around, stare, read, listen or talk to others. Walk around, play around with things, move your feet as you sit. B, A, or K. Okay, game over. Take a moment, add up all your V's, A's, and K's. Your total should be no more than 5 of all of them, right? So where are you? So let's talk about this. So this is a very simple VAC, learning styles assessment. Very simple that we just did. Your highest level that you scored is this learning style that you tend to be strongest with. Okay, V stands for visual, A stands for audio, K stands for kinetic. So if your highest score is a V, you're a visual learner. If your highest score is an A, you're an audio learner. If your highest score is a K, you're a kinetic learner, right? And since there's an odd number, you don't have a tie here, right? Okay, so what does this mean? Okay, well, a couple of things to highlight here too. Is like visual learners kind of have these characteristics and they can benefit from these types of techniques. They tend to be seen as this way. Sometimes visual learners have a tension, they proceed to having a lack of focus because they're trying to pull everything. Audio learners like using their senses, right? They like abstract, they like to do things independently, they like verbal questioning, but they need processing time. I'm a big audio learner, so I need processing time to think about things. Kinetic learners, they like to touch things. They are independent and independent. So what does that mean? Is they show me how to do it. Now get out of the way, let me do it. So a couple of things about learning styles in general is that they are contextual. They are based subjects. They are contextual. They are subject-based and can change over time. Now, this is just one of the measures out there. Now, keep in mind, your professors often try to connect with all these learning styles, even when they contradict each other, right? So try to be patient in the classroom. So, for example, sometimes visual learners get distracted by tactile learners, and audio learners have a hard time with tactile learners because they're like moving around the room along those lines, making too much noise. Assessments. Now, just because your learning style is you prefer, you're an audio visual learner, doesn't mean you want to be assessed that way. Doesn't mean you want to take a test that way. You got to be adaptive. You got to know your role. But the bottom line is ultimately you and you alone are responsible for your success in college here, right? Okay, so a couple notes about learning styles as we wrap this up. There are many assessments out there. Don't pay for any of them. But deeper dives are usually better. So basically, we did a 5-question one, but a 20-question or 25-question run or a 50-question one will actually be much more accurate, right? Now, effective measures aren't exactly reliable per se because it's about how you're feeling in the moment, but it can give you a guideline. Some of these assessments are very well researched, others not so much. In fact, some cognitive psychologists say that learning styles are not a real thing, right? And they say, it's kind of like, well, it's really not that science backed up by research. And other ones argue there was some good research done. So, bottom line is cognitive psychologists are still studying learning. We're trying to figure out how students learn better. But the key thing I want you to take away from this, if you're a VA or a K, is that you need to reflect on how you learn best. You can't learn passively. You need to do it very intentionally. All right, folks, hopefully it's fun as usual. Let me know what you thought. You can put something in the chat or the description, give us your feedback on this, and I really appreciate you. Thanks for joining us for Tuesday's tips, and we'll see you next week.